Welcome to Mornings with Matt, personal and professional development training that connects the art of acting with critical life skills and self-mastery. Presented by the Deering Acting Studio.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt. I am here with Linny Allen. Good morning, Linny.
Hey, good morning, Matt.
I gotta tell so people who watch the show, they may not know who you are. I don't know. It's been a few years since you've been at the studio. Linny Allen is a dear friend, a wonderful actress. She came to us many years ago and just lit up our world here at Deering Acting Studio. We are so grateful to you and your husband, and we have shared so many good memories together before you moved off to California.
Oh, thank you, Matt. That's very nice. You know, I started with you guys. I was adding it up. I can add that high. But anyway, August 4th this year, coming up August 4th, will be 17 years.
Oh, wow.
That was my first acting class with you.
Has it really been that long?
Yeah. Now, listen, I can't believe it either. You know?
Wow. How could that be, Brian?
I cannot believe it. It's when I called you the other day, I was sort of freaking out a little bit because I just remember you've been with us since the studio before this studio. I mean, when we were over off McDowell, and so like the fact that it's just weird. You when you're working and doing things you love, time passes so fast. It just feels like a blink of an eye, and I don't know. It's just so cool to see you.
Oh, I know. Well, thank you. It's wonderful.
So tell us, how are you, Linny?
Well, you know, there's lots of different versions of that.
Well, let's do this. Why don't we backtrack a little bit before we get there? Because I like to start off the show with a little bit of an introduction to who people are.
Sure.
So tell us a little bit about where you came from. You know, what it was like, you know, growing up as you, and how you transitioned into where you are now.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Kansas City, Kansas. My parents had me and my older brother, and it was back in the time frame, you know, when girls were raised to basically grow up, get married, you know, have children, take care of the husband, the home, which is a great career, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I had 3 daughters, and I feel like, you know, I had a wonderful life. My husband at that time, through many years, was a naval officer. So we moved around every 2 years for 20 years. And when it was finally time to settle down, it was like, oh, wow, you know, we're going to settle down. I don't know how I'm going to be able to do that, because I was used to being able to, you move into a place, you set up your home just like you've been there forever. And then you know, get to know the people on the base, and you form friendships, get involved in activities, and you have a feeling like you're going to be there forever, and then you have to go, you know, in 2 years. So I guess that probably has given me some lessons in flexibility, and which is a good thing. It's helped me now in the later years. So that's a little bit about me. I did want to tell you how I ended up at your studio, because I think that story's interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to hear that. I'm also curious here. You wrote down that back when you were making that decision, that a lot of girls weren't going to college, or it really wasn't an option for a lot of girls.
Right.
Well, tell me about that, because I think there are people where we just kind of don't remember the way things were, you know, and that's one of the things with you know, there's so much turmoil and things going on in the world, and it's you know, it's heartbreaking in a lot of ways, but I think it's also good to look back and realize how much we have grown, you know, in different areas. And so I think with women's rights, and with the way women are treated and whatnot, we're definitely on a path to be in the right direction, for sure.
Sure, absolutely. Well, my parents at that time, you know, I was born in the 40s, or 1941. So, which actually, you know, I want to also own that, because I think that's just a beautiful privilege to still be here expressing and living and creating. And so I feel like, putting the age up front like that is important, because there's a lot of seniors these days that are valuable and still have a lot to give. So anyway, getting back to what you said, my parents were focused on my brother getting the education. And I can see why, because he was going to go out into the world and have a family and have to support his family. And that's the way they did it back then. Now, some of my friends did go to college, and I don't know the difference of what, their family saw versus my family. But that's just the way that all worked out. And, I've got my story, and it's unfolded through the years. It's really been a good life.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I say this a lot, college it's great, but it's also, it's just a way for people to pay to have somebody to tell them to keep learning every day. So college is a good thing. I recommend college to kids, but it's not like the end all be all. I know a lot of very successful, very smart people, a lot of entrepreneurs who didn't go to college necessarily. So there's no downside there. I'm just interested in the history. A couple more things then. So you can help me with my history if you know it. When was the Great Depression?
Oh, wow. Well, I was a baby when they had that, so it was in the 40s.
It was in the 40s. Okay, so you were,
or maybe late 30s. I'm not 100% on that, because I was a baby when it happened.
Yeah. Okay, so then you would have been impacted in the way your parents raised you, I'm sure, because they went through a time of fear and a time of having lost everything, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they were very impacted, because there were things like, I wanted to take lessons, tap lessons, and they said, no, we can't afford it. There were other activities, swim lessons. They said, we can't afford it. So I got a lot of, we can't afford it. And so later, I was able to open myself up to the ideas, the possibilities of what I could do.
Yeah.
And
did that impact you and the way that you see money early on, do you think?
That's a good question. It's probably, I see it both ways. I see you need to, be smart with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I also feel that supply is unlimited.
Yeah.
We limit it in our thinking. And I have strived or worked to not feel limited where it comes to supply.
Yeah. And that's
when you
that's
face
so true.
that fear and open that door, you begin to see, good things happen that you would have, if you felt like, oh, it couldn't possibly happen. It wouldn't happen if you keep your mind closed.
Love it. You and I are so on the same page when it comes to that. So that's a great way of looking at it, everybody. Think about this. Your mindset is going to determine your future. And so if you have a limited mindset, or you are thinking in such a way that is limited and is without, then that's going to start to become your reality. If you focus on what Lenny says here, and I tell my kids, focus on the good, and good things happen. So what is good? What could be good? And I know we're going through some hard times. I know this has been a very, very weird time for our world, a time that we need to sit back and pray and reflect quite a bit. But we can still focus on the good. We can focus on what is possible versus what isn't. And when we do that, there is an unlimited supply of good.
Yes, there is.
Yeah. All right. So tell me about it. How'd you come to the studio? I want to hear the story.
Okay. Well, like I said, it was about 17 years ago now, and I was taking 2 classes. They were self-improvement classes for that exact thing, to self-improve. One of them was called Goal Achievers, and the other was Winner's Image.
Okay.
Now, in the Goal Achiever, I was asked, and this is interesting too, I was asked to list a lot of different things that I would like to do as far as a career. And there's a fear that comes into you, because where I was at in my mindset at the time, there was a fear that comes in like, oh, gee, I can't even begin to list that because I could never, have a lot of these things that I would list. And so then they said to list, different homes you might like to have and where would you like to have them. So first it was encountering the fear of, oh, what if I put these on paper? Well, what it was doing, it was breaking through the fear and opening me to the possibilities. So I listed a lot of different things that I would enjoy as a career, and acting was one of them, but it wasn't the first thing I put down. So then the instruction was to go back through your list and put the number one thing you would really like. And I did, and it was acting. And I got goosebumps because I realized, oh my gosh, that pulled out of me something I really wanted. And I went right to my computer, because I was answering these questions at home. I went right to my computer to see what acting classes and studios were available. Well, Deering came up. So immediately called and signed up for a class. So that obviously was in August. And my first class was August the 4th with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is just wild.
I was really scared. I was scared, but still, I was motivated.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Now, I was going to ask you that. So that first class, was it a little scary coming in?
Yeah. And the other reason too, which, I got past finally, was I was the oldest one in class. But everybody was really nice to me.
I'd say nice was an understatement. It's kind of hard not to be nice to you, Lenny, with that smile and that energy you bring to the room. And I think this is something that we, everybody's got their own fears walking in. I was just dealing with this with Rosalind. Matt's daughter is in a camp that we have going on right now. And everybody has their own fear. And sometimes I forget that. I forget that each person's walking in with that. And as soon as the fear is gone, they rise up like crazy, just rise up. So in this movie camp we're doing, his daughter, Rosalind, once her fear of the older kids, and for her it's reversed, she was the youngest, and there's these older kids everywhere. And as soon as she released that, she's hilarious. Oh my gosh, she's like stealing this role away, and it's amazing. And so I think there's just so much power in the understanding that once you push past that fear, you can rise up to that potential. I just had to speak on that because it was inspiring.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that is inspiring. And, the acting classes, they open you up and they bring out, what's there to be shared and to be able to really express yourself. So I had a lot of fear through a lot of the classes, especially improv. Now, we don't even want to go there because, you're right there on the spot and you have to say something. But Matt, you have taught me that listening is the key.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because I've really gone. Oh, we get frozen.
We froze here.
Oh. At least we're frozen. We're frozen on a smile, which is not.
Yeah.
It's not unlikely for Lenny to be frozen on a smile. We'll do a refresh here. So Lenny was talking about a second ago that that I had taught her about fear. I mean about listening, and that being the key to overcoming your fear. And I was about to say that we.
I'm sorry, my screen froze.
Yeah, you're back.
You are back.
So it's interesting because I have gone all in on this listening thing. So it's I'm glad I was talking about that a long time ago because I agree with me now. So.
Oh yeah, and guess what?
What?
Look what I have.
Hey.
That is so cool.
I'm on produce a show. That's where I am.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, so that's amazing, Lenny. And I'm writing another book right now called The Best Listener in the Room. That was the first book I started writing. I believe God told me to wake up and start writing that book, actually. And so I finished it, but now I'm on the rewrite process. And part of my journey, I got stuck, and that other book popped out when I was on a writer's like hiatus from the Best Listener in the Room. So, but the other one's it's really about connecting into all those listening skills that we have that are so impactful in life. And I'm talking about, you listen to words, you listen to body language, you listen to thoughts, you can listen to the spirit that lives inside of you, and it can be such a guiding force. And I really firmly believe that listening can be a superpower. I mean, really, you can stand alone in a group of people, and if you really know how to listen and connect to people, I mean, it's an amazing ability. And really, I even write in there, it could be used for good or for evil, just like anything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
yeah, listening is a key. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, I was going to say, once you gain the skill, you have to be careful not to be manipulative with it, because you'll literally know things that people don't know even about themselves, and you have to be very diligent about the way you use your listening for good.
True, absolutely. Well, I feel like for my own self, listening is still a quality that I need to work on. And so I am. That's all you can do is just make the effort, right?
That's right. So so let's dive into where you are now, and if you have any questions for me, or anything you want to talk about with what's going on right now.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of in between. I've been busy for a long time. For 7 years, I have been a lead generator at Costco, but I don't work for Costco. I work for an outside vendor.
Okay.
And the last 4 years has been for Window Fashion. So I spent maybe 25 hours a week as a lead generator. And what was interesting, and I get a kick out of, I thought, because, when you're in Costco, it's busy. And I stand in front of one of the kiosks. And so I thought, well, here's my stage. I always wanted to be on stage, but I didn't quite realize it was going to be that stage. But I met a lot of people, and I also realized that while talking with them, that's all improv. And, improv used to scare me when I took the classes, but that's all life is improv. Like right now, today's improv. And so I feel like that's helped me, get more relaxed in front of people in an audience. Anyway, so I was laid off March 18. And my first feeling, because, the COVID, it surprised us all.
Yeah.
We were all still mentally in our own lives, in our own activities, in our minds. And when my boss said, we're going to have to lay you off, I went, oh no, I want to work. And she said, well, it's really, due to, what the governor here was putting out, that definitely the seniors needed to shelter in. And I'm qualified for that. So although I felt, energetic and, ready to keep going, it was something I needed to yield to and do.
Yeah.
So in that course of events, you kind of come to a screeching halt. And then, you're faced with your own self, which I think is a good thing, because we learn so much more about ourselves when our minds are quiet. And I've gone through that just like everybody has. So Rusty and I, tried to figure out, well, what could we do? So we did go for walks in a park close by because the beach was closed. And I've come out of it, both of us, come out of it wondering if we are, heading towards retirement. We're not sure, because we always wondered how that would come about. And it is maybe right here, right now. So we're still exploring that.
What would retirement look like for you? Is that something you two have thought through?
Oh boy. Well, one thing, as much as we love California, and it would be bittersweet to leave here, I believe retirement would look like going to a place where, it's less expensive to live. And then what would we do once we retire? It's a good question. And that's what I'm wondering about right now. There's things I'd like to do. Would like to take those tap classes even at this age.
Yeah.
You know, I figured if I did that, maybe I could get into some kind of a musical, you know, which I can dance. So I went out to, I tried out for a play one time. It's been a few years ago since I've been here, and it required tap dancing. And I thought, oh my gosh. Well, I went ahead and made the effort, and I tried moving my feet like they asked, but no, I didn't know what I was doing.
Sure.
So, but you have to try, right?
Yeah. No, that's great. I think you've got the right mentality where you don't know what you'll do yet. So, you know, I don't obviously know what it's like to be you or be your age or anything like that. So I can't.
It's great. Let me tell you, it's really great.
I look forward to it. I look forward to every you know, everything I'll
now. How old did you say that you are going to go tell Matt? You had the specific.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's got it planned out. So like, just down to.
Yeah, I've decided I'll be 126 is my death age, and I'll be laying next to Leanne. We'll give each other a kiss. We'll hold hands, and then we can die together. I'll go right before she does.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And people think really 126 is old. It's really not that old. I mean, if you can think about the modern science,
it's just getting better and better.
Yeah, I'll have a couple fake limbs, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not hard to do, guys. It's not that hard to do.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think Moses was 147. Is that correct?
Right. So I'm not going crazy. Like I'm not going Moses' age. I'm just saying, you know, close.
Just up there.
Okay, well, I haven't given that one a lot of thought, but I figure it's up there somewhere.
Sure,
you know?
sure. So
maybe at 100.
So my thought was basically for everybody, my advice is always don't retire. But it means, and so what does retirement mean? It's gotta have purpose. You need to have what is the next chapter, and what are the obstacles we're going to try to overcome? What are the mountains that we're going to climb? So like you said, taking tap dance lessons, that's amazing. That's a great idea. But giving yourself some sort of a mission, some sort of a, it's almost like so when you retire, you should think to yourself, I'm going to work. Like what are you going to work on for your life? Because if without purpose and without some sort of a vision, that's when I think people start to stay indoors a lot. Yeah. And they honestly, like I've seen where, my grandparents and different people that I've known who their whole life they were looking forward to retiring, and they lived the normal life, and everyone, that's what you do. You work 30, 40 years and then you retire. But the idea for them was retirement was, I'm going to work really hard so I don't have to work at all or do anything. And as soon as you slow down to that degree, your body can't adjust that quickly. And you realize you didn't actually want to do nothing. Doing nothing is not that great. And so then people they die quicker. They get to the retirement age, and then without purpose, there's nothing to live for. And so the body just sort of gives up.
No,
that's true.
My grandpa even
go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say my grandpa on the Sweeney side kind of is an example of continuing to find ways to do stuff. Like he still crushes them. Like he's up crazy early always still. And he's planning golf stuff. He's going around and seeing the grandkids, the great grandkids, driving around Phoenix to do that. And like, I know for me, I love seeing that as an example because he's not allowing it to just be like staying at home.
Well, and another example, your grandfather. So he retired, but then went right to work. So he got other side jobs that he didn't have to have, but he got because he wanted to. I think he was a driver for somebody for a while.
Yep,
in retirement.
He did that. He also like would house sit for certain people, and he was because he was a mailman and did security for a while. And so then when he was retired, he also did just for fun. He'd go to do security jobs at places like. He's just always kept himself busy, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Well, that is very important. Rusty and I realize that because since we haven't been working, there's some days that we do feel like we're not motivated.
Yeah.
And I don't like that feeling. We've always been active. Well, one of the things that I would I've wanted to do this for years. I just haven't really known how to get started. Is public speaking. and you have to have something to say. Well, I do, but when it comes to, well, write it down on paper, I'm kind of like, oh, I don't know.
Well, let's deal with that right now. I think that's a great one. So what do you
Okay.
what do you want to say? What do you want to talk about?
That's the point. I haven't known exactly. I mean, I study, metaphysics, and I understand and strive to work that through that, that we're unlimited. It's thought that holds us back, so here I am now wanting to push through to a new thought in a new way. Since I am, older age now, I thought possibly there's motivation to see other seniors who aren't seeing the importance of being active, or that they can get out there and, even start taking an acting class.
Yeah.
So somehow motivating others would be what I'd want.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's wonderful. So to start with, you don't even need to have, I don't think, the perfect speech or anything going.
Mm-hmm.
You just need it. You need the first audience.
Right. I was reading that part, where you said start somewhere.
Yeah.
You could start with yourself. Yeah. So I told my daughter, youngest daughter in Arizona, I said, I really would like to, just do something and get on the phone and talk, like when I was at the beach, maybe just talk and then show the ocean. Or and she said, well, just do it. And I went, no, I feel afraid to do it. And she said, it's not that hard. Right.
Mm-hmm. And did you do it?
No.
Well, you got to listen. You got to do it. So now remember this too, with your unlimited thinking. God,
right,
our source speaks to us through other people.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're being given the gift, you're being given the answer, and sometimes we'll be like, hey, give us the, let me have the answer, and then you get it, but you refuse to listen to it,
Well, then that's right. That's a problem. But, speaking of our source, I was praying to our source, looking for direction and guidance, and Brian called.
Really?
That just really kind of fit together, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was just amazing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like totally. Yeah. So I thank you for that, because one, it totally motivated me. And then, when you sent the questionnaire, I'm like, oh my gosh, but I knew I needed to go through every step. I needed to know I could. And because, see, it's that mind, that I'm going to call it material mind, human mind, will get in the way and tells you all kinds of things that you can't do that, or, and then when you really listen to the source goes, of course you can.
Right.
Because you're unlimited.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even though I know that, I still have my moments. I'm sure many do. And I think that's important to admit that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That I don't do everything right, but I do as best I can, and I keep trying to do better.
Well, and not only that, and maybe you can help us with this, because I think this would be just good for people to hear. And I know there's another side to you, because there's another side to everybody.
Absolutely.
But you, for the most part, you carry a smile with you wherever you go. I mean, you tend to make that your default, and I'm sure that you've been hurt and scorned, and there's a time when you've got a temper and whatnot. But
yeah.
Do you fight for that smile? Is that something that's conscious for you, that you focus on?
No, the smile's natural. When I get up every morning, I feel happy. So I feel like the inner me is a happy person. Now, when I get past that, okay, I think layers they do start coming back. So you get into your day and different situations can come up. And do I meet every situation perfectly? No, I do not. Unfortunately, my goal and what I strive for is to be kind and to be loving and to be understanding. Well, one of my key things is that I have come to realize that I need to be understood. It's important to me to be understood. And isn't there something in the classes where we learn, what is it that drives you? Like Marilyn Monroe had one. She wanted to be loved.
Yeah, yeah. It's basically every character has that,
Yeah,
and usually it's love is somehow connected at the center of just about everybody's wants and desires. That just it eventually comes back to that.
right. Absolutely. Well, what I love, and when I've been listening to Mornings with Matt, is the honesty, uh, getting right down to saying, when something doesn't work well, what you're working through. And I love that because we all need that. We need to know that we can be that open.
Yeah, I
So
think
thank you.
I've always thought you're welcome. I've always thought it was attractive. For me, honesty is attractive. People being willing to talk about their journey and be on this ongoing process.
Right.
For me is attractive, and that's what I'm attracted to when I listen to people like Joe Rogan or Gary Vee or whoever it is, the next big guy. I'm more interested and fascinated by their journey story, by on their way
Yes.
up, and the fact that they're still hungry and they still talk about their failures of today. I'm like, oh, this stuff's great, So I'm a big proponent of not hiding anything, not trying to put something, a false image of yourself, but to be exactly where you are, and then
Right.
and then strive to be better.
Right. Absolutely. Every day, strive to be better.
Yeah. So would you say that you wake up with that you say your inner self is happy? Do you think that that comes from gratitude? Because for me, I think it comes from gratitude. That's where I get my source of happiness from. Is just grateful to be alive today, and what am I going to do with today?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, every morning, I'm so grateful to be up and about. And, like I've talked some about the age, and I'm not unhappy about the age. I actually want to, and I'm embracing it. But there's value, every day, realizing what my life is, the friends, the loved ones around me. That's all valuable, and gratitude is a big part of that. It's gratitude.
Yeah,
Truly is.
yeah, and I think to myself too, like this is a thing that just hit me a while back, which was this big eye-opening change in my life. Was I started to pack my bags the night before for the trip of life every night. That's the idea. So I realized that if I was going to go on an international flight, I would pack my bags, I would set my clothes out, I would have my itinerary, like I would be all excited, and then usually I pop out of bed before the alarm goes off because I'm so excited about the trip, right? So I've mentally now programmed myself to do that every day. I treat every day with the same amount of respect, and so I'm already programmed to wake up the next day, the night before, because I've mentally packed my bags. And I'm sincerely grateful. I mean, when I wake up, I'm like, okay, you got today. What are you gonna do with today, bro? Like, let's go figure out what you're supposed to do with today and make sure that you do something with it.
I love that, Matt, because you're enthusiastic, and the enthusiasm really will carry you through the day.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Lenny, we are getting close here to the end of our time, but I want to give you some Matt Deering advice because you were a student a while back. So I respect you, and I respect where you've come from. I respect your age. I respect so many things, and I know I have so much to learn from you. But what I'm gonna ask you to do here is you've got a bit of a following on Facebook. You're Facebook active, and that's a medium that I believe that you know. There's going to be a part of Facebook that will be new to you, and this is what I think you should do. I think you should start going live on Facebook, and you should talk about some of these things. And when you go live on Facebook, people are going to comment, and they're going to ask you questions. They're going to talk to you. They're going to say hi, and you're going to fail miserably. No offense, but you will. And so you put your glasses on, and you're going to read the comments. You're going to try to keep up. It's going to be really cute. But that's the process, You can't quit, but you can fail. Failure is no problem. But don't be afraid of it, because there's going to be an audience that needs to hear what you have to say for real. So even if your first live, you have one person viewing, who cares? You go out there and you start to do this thing. You can have your own show. You can be public speaking immediately starting today. You just go live, and it's live, by the way. So there's no going backwards. So then you might be like, oh, dang it, I screwed that up or whatever, and it's all on the live. And I think you should do that. I really do. I think there's going to be people who are going to tune in. They're going to get excited about it, and you do have a voice and you have a message. And I think only from putting it out there without fear are you going to really be able to find it and refine what that message is.
I accept the challenge, Matt.
All right. You heard it.
Thank
you heard
you.
it here, Brian.
I sure did.
Lenny, we love you, and we love Rusty. Can you tell Rusty we love him?
Yes, please.
Oh, yes, I can. And he loves you guys too. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful for me.
All right.
I'm very honored. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been Mornings with Matt. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel. Help us to put out this light-driven content. We surely appreciate it. Have a great day. God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.